The storm is rising again, and destiny calls louder than ever. Outlander is back, and with it comes a first look at Season 8, a chapter filled with battles, love, and choices that could shape the future of generations. The trailer for Episode 1 is not just a glimpse, it is a warning, a promise, and a reminder that time always takes its toll. Season 7 left us with wounds that have not healed and questions that never stopped burning. Now in 2026, the world of Outlander opens once more with landscapes painted in shadows and skies heavy with war. The camera drifts across the misty highlands, where the echoes of drums and the cries of men remind us that peace is fragile. Every path is lined with danger. Every step forward feels like a gamble against fate. Claire stands at the center of it all, her eyes carrying the burden of choices that reach across centuries. She is a healer, a survivor, and a woman torn between two times. Her voice trembles not with weakness but with the weight of knowing that love is never safe when history demands sacrifice. In this first look, she appears stronger and yet more vulnerable, as if destiny has sharpened its blade and waits to test her courage once more. Jamie, the heart of Outlander, is shown leading his people through fire and chaos. His hands, calloused by battles past, grip the sword with unshaken resolve. Yet in his silence there is fear, not of losing his life, but of losing the woman who has stood by him through every storm. The trailer gives us fragments of his struggle, the clash of steel, the shout of his men, and the unyielding love that keeps him fighting when surrender would be easier. The story also reminds us that war is not the only enemy. Time itself stands as the greatest rival. Brianna and Roger, torn between their future and the past they cannot fully escape, appear in fleeting moments. Their eyes search for answers in a world that was never meant to hold them. The camera shows us their children too, the next generation, fragile and yet bound to the same destiny. The promise of safety feels thin, like paper in the wind, ready to tear at the slightest force. The trailer builds suspense with every shot, blending the silence of intimate whispers with the thunder of war drums. New faces emerge, cloaked in mystery, their loyalties hidden. Old enemies return, their shadows stretching longer than before. And through it all, the voice of time itself seems to whisper, warning that nothing lasts forever. The first look at Episode 1 is not only about battles and survival. It is about love tested by the sharpest edges of destiny. It is about the unbreakable bond of Claire and Jamie, the uncertain journey of Brianna and Roger, and the haunting truth that time travel carries a cost no one can avoid. The trailer does not answer every question. Instead, it dares us to wonder, who will endure and who will fall when the final storm breaks? The trailer wastes no time in pulling us deep into the storm. The very first shots are charged with a sense of urgency. Horses race across uneven ground, banners torn by the wind, and the air heavy with smoke rising from villages left in ruin. Every frame is layered with danger, yet beauty is not lost. The Scottish Highlands are painted in gold and grey, as if the land itself knows it is about to bleed once more. Claire appears again, her voice steady but her eyes unsettled. She tends to the wounded with blood-stained hands, her face set in determination. The light around her flickers as cannon fire rumbles in the distance. She is not only a healer now, she is a symbol of hope for men who would otherwise surrender to despair. Each word she speaks carries weight, reminding us that survival is not simply about strength, but about willpower and heart. Jamie emerges in the thick of battle, sword flashing as the camera closes on his defiance. His voice is heard over the clash of steel, declaring that family is worth more than victory. This moment is more than a reminder of his courage. It is proof that every choice he makes is guided by love. His presence is the heartbeat of the trailer, fierce, unshaken, and impossible to ignore. Yet for the first time we sense a fear inside him, the fear of losing what he has fought for all his life. The trailer then shifts to Brianna and Roger. Their world is different, marked by modern tools and hidden risks. They face their own storm, one that is not fought with swords, but with secrets of time itself. A scene shows Brianna standing near the edge of a river, her reflection rippling as if the water knows truths she cannot say aloud. Roger stands behind her, his hand reaching for hers, his expression caught between hope and dread. They know that every step they take may draw them closer to answers, or closer to tragedy. New characters appear in flashes. A soldier with eyes that burn like embers. A woman cloaked in shadow who watches from afar. A stranger whose words carry the threat of betrayal. The trailer does not name them, but their presence is undeniable. They are the keys to new mysteries, and they remind us that Outlander thrives on surprises that reshape the story when least expected. The pace quickens. Shots of gunfire, the cries of soldiers, and the roar of drums blend into one heartbeat. Then silence falls, and a single voice whispers of a secret buried in time. The sound is enough to raise chills because in Outlander, whispers are often more dangerous than swords. The trailer does not answer what this secret is, but it makes one promise clear. Episode 1 will not only continue the story, it will open doors that were never meant to be unlocked. This first look leaves us with more questions than answers. Who will survive the fire of war? Who will break under the pressure of destiny? And most haunting of all, who will pay the cost when the line between past and future begins to collapse? The trailer takes a powerful turn when the faces of the main characters fill the screen. Each moment is carved to remind us why their stories still matter after so many years. These are not just scenes, they are glimpses into lives held together by love, torn apart by war, and haunted by time. Jamie Fraser stands first, framed by firelight. His voice is steady, commanding his men, but his eyes betray the fear of a husband who knows the world can steal the one thing he cannot live without. His words echo like a vow. He will not yield. He will not let destiny take what is his to protect. The camera shows his strength in battle, the sharp edge of his sword flashing against enemies, yet the deepest power lies in his devotion. For every strike he delivers, the thought of Claire drives his hand forward. Claire appears next, her hair caught in the wind, her face fierce even in sorrow. She bends over a wounded soldier, blood marking her hands, and whispers encouragement, as if her voice itself could heal. The trailer does not soften her pain. It amplifies it, showing the cost of being a healer in a world where every life saved could be the last. She is strong because she must be, not because she chooses to be, and that strength sets her apart. Her eyes meet Jamie's in one fleeting scene, and without words we see that their love is the fire no storm can extinguish. Brianna comes into focus, a mother and daughter caught between centuries. The trailer shows her holding her child close, her face marked with fear yet blazing with resolve. She knows that her family's future cannot be secured by running, it must be fought for, and she carries that burden with a courage that mirrors her father's. In another frame she looks into Roger's eyes, and the weight of unspoken truths hangs between them. The trailer suggests they may face choices that could split them apart, choices where love may not be enough to bridge the divide. Roger's story is hinted at through shadows. He is shown in silence, standing before a doorway glowing with strange light. His hand lingers in hesitation before he steps forward, as if the path before him holds the answers he has been chasing since the beginning. Yet there is fear in his stance, the fear that stepping forward might cost him everything he loves. The trailer captures his conflict with precision, a man torn between faith and doubt, between the safety of his family and the mystery of times. New faces are shown in quick cuts. A young soldier swears allegiance, a woman in dark robes turns her head with an unsettling smile, and a figure whose face remains hidden delivers a warning. These flashes are brief but unforgettable, teasing that new alliances and betrayals are about to shape the path of every character we know. By the end of this section of the trailer, the stage is set not only for battles and journeys, but for the emotional storms that define Outlander. Every character is caught in a fight they cannot escape, and the first episode promises to push them to their limits. Family, love, loyalty, and fate are all bound together, ready to be tested like never before. The trailer saves its sharpest blade for the final moments. The rhythm of drums quickens, voices rise in a chorus of battle cries, and then silence crashes in, A darkened field fills the screen, smoke curling across the ground, as if the earth itself is holding its breath. From the shadows, a figure emerges, cloaked, faceless, and carrying the weight of a secret that could undo everything. The camera does not reveal who it is, only the way the world seems to shift when they appear. Claire's voice is heard, steady but edged with fear. She speaks of choices that cannot be undone, of a moment when love and duty will no longer walk the same path. Her words echo like a prophecy, cutting through the silence as Jamie's hand reaches for his sword. Their eyes meet, and in that instant the audience knows the heart of Season 8 will not only be survival, it will be the cost of every promise they have ever made to each other. The trailer then spirals into a storm of images. Brianna clutching her child against her chest as firelight flickers around them. Roger standing in the doorway of the unknown, his face caught between terror and faith. A scream in the distance that fades before we can see the source. A blade drawn across the screen, flashing once in the dark. The voices of new characters rise and fall, whispering of betrayal, warning of change, daring us to believe that no one is safe. In the final seconds, a crack of thunder splits the screen. The sound fades into the haunting theme of Outlander, while text burns across the black background. Season 8, Episode 1 coming in 2026. A final whisper follows, low and chilling. One secret will rewrite their story. The screen fades to black, leaving nothing but silence. A silence heavy enough to make the audience lean closer, desperate for what comes next. This closing tease is more than a promise. It is a challenge. Outlander dares its viewers to return, once more to a world where love fights against time, where every battle is fought not only with swords but with hearts. The first look makes it clear that Season 8 will not be a gentle beginning. It will be a storm that tests every bond, every vow, and every truth the characters thought they knew. The trailer ends, but its echoes remain. It leaves us asking who will fall, who will rise, and who will be lost to the weight of history. Outlander has always balanced love and war, but this season promises something even more powerful, a reckoning that none of them can escape. The trailer moves into its most gripping phase, showing not just the battles on open fields but the wars that take place behind closed doors. The tension shifts from swords and smoke to whispers and secrets, reminding us that danger in Outlander is often born in silence before it bursts into fire. Jamie is shown walking through a council of men, their voices sharp with disagreement. Some call for surrender, others for rebellion, and in the middle of this storm, Jamie rises with the authority of a man who has carried Scotland on his back. His words are simple yet unshakable, declaring that family and honor are worth any cost. But even as his men nod, the camera lingers on one figure in the shadows, a figure whose loyalty is not clear, hinting that betrayal may grow from within. Claire is pulled into her own conflict, one not of blades but of morality. The trailer shows her standing before a young soldier, barely more than a boy, his body broken by war. Her hands press against his wounds, her voice steady, as she urges him to fight for life. Yet her eyes reveal the truth she cannot speak, that saving one may mean losing another, and that the choices she makes could change the tide of battle itself. This is the weight she carries, the unspoken price of being both healer and witness to endless war. Brianna's path grows darker as, the trailer reveals her caught between two timelines, her family in the present and the pull of a past that refuses to let her go. She stands inside a stone circle, the air humming with energy, her child in her arms. The sound of wind roars as if the world itself is demanding her choice. Roger reaches for her, his voice breaking as he tells her that once the circle takes her, there may be no return. Their love is tested in that single moment, a test that will shape their entire journey. The trailer then cuts to images that flash like lightning, soldiers marching through the night, torches in hand. A woman cloaked in red standing over a map, her finger pressing down on a place marked for destruction. A stranger's voice whispering that the war is not what it seems, that the true enemy is yet to be revealed. These glimpses feed the fire of suspense, making it clear that Episode 1 will not be a slow beginning, but an eruption of danger from every side. As the tension rises, The music shifts to a haunting rhythm. Drums echo like a heartbeat, strings tighten with urgency, and the screen flickers between past and future. Outlander has always thrived on the collision of time, but here it feels sharper, more dangerous, as if the threads that hold history together are fraying. The section ends with Jamie and Claire standing together on a battlefield, smoke swirling. Around them, their hands locked as if to say that even when the world crumbles, they will not fall apart. Their silhouettes burn against the light, promising that love remains the strongest weapon they hold. Yet the final shot twists that promise with a single image, the hidden figure watching them from the shadows, waiting for the moment to strike. The trailer climbs to its highest tension, pulling every thread of fear, love, and danger into one rising storm. The screen fills with fire and steel, but behind the chaos, the true battle begins. Outlander has always shown us that the hardest wars are not only fought on the battlefield, but within the hearts of those who dare to love in a world that demands sacrifice. Jamie is shown standing in the rain, his sword lowered, his chest heaving with exhaustion. For the first time, the unbreakable warrior looks uncertain. His voice is heavy, admitting that even he cannot control the tide forever. Yet before the weight can crush him, Claire steps forward, her hand on his arm, her eyes blazing with the strength he has always drawn from. The trailer makes it clear, their bond is the shield that keeps them standing, even when the world falls apart around them. The story shifts quickly to Brianna and Roger, their struggle shown in fragments, of fear and resolve. Brianna's voice cuts through the storm, declaring that their children must not inherit a world built on blood. Her words are filled with both desperation and courage, a mother's cry turned into a warrior's vow. Roger stands beside her, torn between faith and doubt, yet his hand never leaves hers. In that grip, the trailer reminds us that even when the future is uncertain, love refuses to let go. New threats are teased with sharper focus. A masked rider charging across the hills, a line of soldiers raising their muskets, a stranger's shadow moving through the glow of fire. One scene shows a council torn apart, men shouting, women crying, and a single voice rising above them all with a warning that the enemy they see is not the only one they face. This promise of hidden dangers deepens the suspense, suggesting that betrayal may not come from far away, but from those standing closest. The music surges with violins and drums as the images strike like lightning. A baby's cry echoing in the night, a letter sealed in blood, the sound of footsteps running down a stone corridor. Every image feels like a warning, every sound like a countdown. The trailer's rhythm pushes the audience to the edge, forcing them to hold their breath as the storm grows louder. Then silence returns. The screen darkens and a single voice whispers through the void. The words are not shown, only heard, but they carry the weight of prophecy, promising that one secret will tear their lives apart. The silence after those words feels heavier than any roar of battle. It is the silence of fate, waiting to strike. By the end of this section, the storm of Season 8 feels unstoppable. Every character is pushed closer to the edge, every bond stretched to breaking, every choice shadowed by consequences. Episode 1 is no longer just a continuation, it is the spark of a fire that could consume them all. The trailer reaches its final breath with tension burning through every frame. The music falls away, leaving only the sound of wind across the highlands. The camera pulls back to show an empty field, the earth scarred by war, smoke rising in slow waves. For a moment it feels as if the battle has ended, but the silence carries a weight far heavier than the clash of steel. Then, from the shadows, a hand reaches into the light. It is not Jamie's, not Claire's, not Brianna's, not Roger's. It belongs to someone unknown, a figure wrapped in mystery, their presence alone enough to shift the entire story. Their face is hidden, their voice unheard, yet the world bends as if they hold a truth no one else dares to speak. This final image sends a shiver through the trailer, a reminder that Outlander has never been a story of safety, but of fate. Jamie's voice rises once more, raw with emotion. He swears that no matter the cost, he will stand against the storm. His vow is more than words, it is the spirit of Outlander itself, the promise that love and loyalty will never surrender. Claire's face follows, her eyes shining with both fear and fire. She says nothing, but her silence speaks louder than battle cries, telling us that she knows the cost of what is coming and that she is ready to pay it. The trailer then flashes in rapid fire, a blade striking against stone, a child crying in the dark, a figure falling to the ground with no name spoken, a scream echoing into the night, and then the sound of a door closing, as if the world itself is sealing its fate. Finally, the screen fades to black, and a single line appears in burning letters. Outlander Season 8, Episode 1. Premieres in 2026. The words hold steady for a heartbeat before vanishing into silence, and in that silence, a single whisper breaks through. One secret will change everything. The outro leaves the audience in shock, their hearts pounding, their minds racing with questions. Who is the figure in the shadows? What is the secret that threatens to tear the story apart? Who will rise when the storm falls, and who will be lost forever? The trailer offers no answers, only the promise of a reckoning. As the theme of Outlander swells once more, the screen glows with the final message. The epic continues, only on Stars. The music lingers like an echo of destiny, and then fades, leaving nothing but silence, a silence that promises war, love, and heartbreak in a season that will test every bond and every soul.